9.75. 14 Billions Galore, 17.70 and 4.80. 15 Peace Offer, 88.95 and 17.60. And 16 Wallara Prince, $6.30 and $2.10. That race due to start in a couple of minutes' time. We may have time to have a look at the replay of the final stage of that last race on the card here. No, I don't think we will, because most of the runners are in Sydney. So there they are, lined up for this event, 1,500 metres, a lot of them, and Ian Craig, your caller.
5-2 on the tote. Max Treasure running the favourites, and they're all boxed. Previous going to Vane Top number 1, beat 2 Vari's Ace and 6 Osaka. A field of 16 here with the 2 emergency acceptors not required, and 11-4 as the tote updates. Max Treasure now has always been much better in the ring. A short time ago was 5-1, and a long-priced move for number 9 Reuters News. On the tote at the moment, the second picks jointly 1 and 5. Deed Star and Jukebox Jury at 11-2. Now the starter hasn't gone up onto his ladder, so a slight delay here. There could be a problem out wide. Deed Star is behaving well, but there seems to be a cluster in the second bank of the stalls, and the starter has come away from his stand. Now there is a horse that's just come out of line, and the horse in question is Reuters News. Now, whether Reuters News did play up on the stalls, I don't know. From this angle, it looked as though he was in at the first attempt, but he's now being trotted around. And Reuters News again goes up towards the gates, and he's in this time. Reuters News safely locked away, and again they're set, ready to run. The second last of the day, 1,500 metres at Rose Hill. Racing, not a bad break once more at the end of 100. Keel Hall and Trick Gold tending to drop off a little, and the same for Reuters News and Santaniaco. And Jukebox Jury wide out leads from Jackson Folding Money. 4th Chief Justice, a length then Wallara Prince and Max Treasure. 1 Deed Star followed by Mr. Squiggles, then Reuters News Keel Hall, followed a length further back by Peace Officer Billions Galore, then Zephyr Race and My Day. Second last is Santaniaco, and last of all Trick Gold at the 1,000. And Jukebox Jury across onto the rails, a half Folding Money, 2 1/2 Third Jacks, a length Max Treasure. Then Chief Justice racing on the inside of Wallara Prince after 1 1/2 coming on the outside Deed Star. Just shading Reuters News from Mr. Squiggles, and then Keel Hall followed by Peace Officer Billions Galore. A length into the stayer My Day from Santaniaco. Zephyr Race shuffle back second last, and Trick Gold whips them in down by the 600. And Jukebox Jury almost joined in front by the grey Folding Money. Third Jacks on the inside rail of Max Treasure. 2 to Wallara Prince, Chief Justice as the field is stringing out, and then a gap to Deed Star. And Reuters News on the rails from Mr. Squiggles, straightening up Folding Money and Jukebox Jury, taken on quickly by Jack's Chief Justice, getting a split nearer to the inside. Max Treasure comes into it, and so too does Wallara Prince. At the 200 metres, Wallara Prince and Max Treasure race up and join Chief Justice, and then Reuters News. Max Treasure is sandwiched up between Chief Justice and on the outside Wallara Prince, with Reuters News flying too late. Wallara Prince has won it. Wallara Prince has beaten Reuters News and Chief Justice. Max Treasure got a real sandwich in the straight. Then Mr. Squiggles and Folding Money, Deed Star, Jack's knocked up, and then Zephyr Race, Keel Hall, Trick Gold, Billions Galore, Santaniaco, followed home by Peace Officer and My Day, and the early leader, Jukebox Jury, the last 2.
Double to play.
And the winner there, number 16, Wallara Prince, 6.75 and 1.95. Second, number 9, Reuters News, is 2.30. And third, number 12, Chief Justice, $10.25. Going to be a big trifecta coming up there in race 7 on the program. Runners out on the track now for the 8th here at Moonee Valley, the Arundel Handicap. We see this finish again. And Wallara Prince just doing well enough to beat Reuters News and Chief Justice. Well, I think the runners are out on the track. Went to 16, Wallara Prince, 6.75, 1.95. Second, 9, Reuters News, 2.30. And third, 12, Chief Justice, 10.25. Quinella, $35.95. and the trifecta $1,328.50. And now 7, HSV7 in Melbourne, race 8 in Sydney coming up in 3 minutes. Roy Higgins with the approximates.
Number 1, Castle's Best, $1.30 and $1 a place. Number 2, Amir, $22.50 and $5.55. 3 is Half Shilling, $3.05 and 90 cents. 4 is Trubisc, $5.65, $1.45. 5 is Strive for Gold, $5.65 and $1.65. 6 Farrago, $9.15 and $2.75. Mancho Prince, number 7 is $21.45 and $6.45. Calgary, number 8 is $3.80 and $1.15. 9 is Southern Blaze, I'm sorry about that, Southern Blaze, $7.40 and $2. 10 is Taliban, is $20.30 and $6.50. 11, Jemski, $10.45 and $3.15. 12, Baronga Man, $10.90 and $3.10. 13, Megabucks, $10.90 and $2.40. 14 is Singing Rock, $140.05 and $15.80 a place. 15 is Miss Lucy, $64.60 and $12. And number 16 is Hearty Red, $22.25 and $3.25. And scratch number 17.
Now, the favourite in the race is Castle's Best. It's ridden by Malcolm Johnson, number 1. Starts from barrier 11. It's in red, green braces, yellow armbands and a green cap as we go to Ian Craig.
Over the 1200, Ali's most important from the starting point. The Golden Slipper start. Castle's Best, the favourite, stands well. Here's the starter, ready to release the field in the final events. Lights flash away. Should get them at any moment. Now a little movement in about 6. They're off in the last of the day, and Farrago slow with Miss Lucy, and Johnston bounced Castle's Best straight to the lead from Taliban. Half Shilling trying to work over third, and travelling fourth at this stage was Calgary, followed then by Megabucks. Marcho Prince very wide out. So too is Southern Blaze, and behind that clump is Trubisc making ground, then Strive for Gold. A length Baronga Man, Gem Sky, Hearty Red, and then Amir, followed by Singing Rock going back on the rails. And Farrago and Miss Lucy are the last two down the side, and running to the 650, Half Shilling from his outside. Ali's crossed a lead, a length Castle's Best. Third is Calgary, the outside. A length further back comes on the inside rail, making a little bit of ground, Megabucks, and then Marcho Prince and Trubisc, followed at the head of the others then by Taliban. They turn the corner at the 400 metres, and the pilot is Half Shilling, about a length or so on Castle's Best. Pop the question now. In third position, Calgary, followed by Marcho Prince, and behind those horses next is Trubisc, and Megabucks is weaving clear. Half Shilling in front of the 200 from Castle's Best, and on the outside Marcho Prince is battling on particularly well. Half Shilling in front. Castle's Best is going to pick him up, I believe. Castle's Best shot to the front. He's got there. Castle's Best beat Half Shilling. Baronga Man third, followed at the head of the others then by Gem Sky, Marcho Prince, and then Megabucks and Taliban, Calgary, Miss Lucy, and then came well back Trubisc in company with Amir. Then Hearty Red, Singing Rock, and a long margin away next in the run. Farrago, Strive for Gold did nothing, and Southern Blaze back at the rear.
Well, the favourites won the last, but geez, hung badly. He hung round the turn, you probably noticed. He got out about 4 deep. He's going to win pretty well here, but see him hang out again. And it looked as though he'd thrown it away. Half Shilling getting to the front clearly again on the inside, but Castle's Best has kicked again under Johnson's vigorous riding. He'll pay $1.40 for the win, 70 a place. Number 3, Half Shilling in the blue colours, second, $1.20. And number 12, Baronga Man, gets up for third, $3.85. It was flying down the outside, Baronga Man. It didn't want very far more to go. Okay, 1, 3 and 12, they're the numbers in Sydney. We'll be back with Grandstand after this break. Castle's Best, number 1, $1.40 and 70. Second, 3 Half Shilling, $1.20. Third, 12 Baronga Man, $3.85. Quinella, $4.70. Trifecta, $151.55. Correct weight is up for the
televised races this afternoon. It's an afternoon which is part of this year's testimonial for those two great Parramatta Rugby League champions, Ray Price and Mick Cronin. This race is the James Hardie Ray Price Cup.
Righto, Ian, thanks very much. Good afternoon, everyone. They're going into the gates for this race, named in honour of Ray Price, and with a bit of luck, we'll be meeting Ray shortly. A big field of fillies and mares. Duchess of Alba has her last race start today. She's been a beaut performer, and let's hope she can go out on a high note. Ray Hadley, what's the tote call?
From the top, Tappy, Miss Peru at 12 to 1, Sirocco Miss at 20s, Duchess of Alba at 15s, Leg Warmer 7, She's a Rock at 5, Left Ashore 7 to 1, the favourite in the ring 11 to 2, Verenia at 5 to 1, Go Down to Sadistic Queen at 13 to 2. The others are all long odds. It's the Ray Price Cup. Joining me now, the man the race is named after, Raymond Price, one of Australia's best-known rugby league footballers. Ray, your tip.
Mate, I'll have to stick with me number, Brigantic.
Brigantic, number 8 from Ray Price, Australia's former test lock. Let's see what sort of tipster he is, Tappy.
OK, Brigantic certainly one of the chances in a pretty tough race. A fillies and mares event. They've got a good run to the first bend of about 500 metres, so they can overcome the wide barriers if they've got sufficient speed. Brigantic and She's a Rocket, both trained by Ray Guy. The stall's open, they're off, and Sirocco Miss is a clear last out of the barrier, and She's a Rocket didn't begin well. She's well back in the early part, and so too is Miss Peru. Sadistic Queen bounded out in front, but is headed straight away by Duchess of Alba, and nicely placed when they get going. Left Ashore moving into third place, followed by Born to Sing. The New Zealand filly Madalena going up on the outside into a prominent spot, followed by Brigantic, and a length away Dandeliera, and then For All Nations and Leg Warmer, followed by Gypsy Reward, and well back Sirocco Miss with Verenia after that slow start. A mile out of its ground then in the run to the first turn is Miss Peru, and back towards the tail She's a Rocket in company with Autumn Craze. Around the first bend of the 800 mark, Duchess of Alba led by a length and a half to Sadistic Queen. 2 away third, Left Ashore getting the run of the race, followed by Madalena on the outside of Born to Sing, and a gap to Brigantic on the inside of Dandeliera. For All Nations well back in a strung out field as they near the turn, and then Leg Warmer followed by Gypsy Reward. Verenia giving them a long start, so too is She's a Rocket, and then Sherita Mac followed by Sirocco Miss and Miss Peru as they turn for home. Into the straight, Duchess of Alba the leader. In second place, Sadistic Queen, who's travelling well, is about to pounce on the Duchess. In third place, the New Zealander Madalena running on well, followed by Left Ashore, and then Born to Sing, and further out Gypsy Reward and Leg Warmer and Verenia. But at the 200, and Sadistic Queen headed Duchess of Alba. Left Ashore and Madalena trying to pick them up. It's Left Ashore going after Sadistic Queen and Duchess of Alba. Left Ashore stormed to the lead close to home. She beat him in a stride and came away to win well. Left Ashore beats Sadistic Queen, and flashing on the outside is Madalena, probably third in front of Gypsy Reward, Duchess of Alba. Then Brigantic and Born to Sing, Sirocco Miss, For All Nations, Leg Warmer. Then Sherita Mac and She's a Rocket, never in it, followed by Dandeliera, Autumn Craze, Miss Peru, and Verenia finished in the last 3 or 4 and ran a very poor race. Stand by for numbers on the 4th of the day. That beat them in one bound. Left Ashore, ridden by John Grisdale. In the last 50 or 60 metres, she stormed to Duchess of Alba and was coming away on the line to score well. Left Ashore, ridden by John Grisdale, who was able to pick up the mount for the Brian Mayfield Smith stable with Jim Cassidy in Brisbane and Nigel Tiley under suspension. Left Ashore by Art Sculptor out of a mare called Miss the Boat, so she's well named. Now on the TAB to pay $3.35 and $1.25 on the New South Wales TAB. Second will be, I think, Sadistic Queen, which is number 10, and Madalena, a New Zealand filly, probably third, number 15. So the numbers should read 6, 10 and 15. Now the James Hardy Mick Cronin Cup is race 5 today. We'll be showing you that race live. Let's hear what Ken Callender thought about it.
In the first leg of the daily double, the Mick Cronin Cup, I reckon there's just as good a thing as Mick would be to kick a goal from right in front of the uprights. And the horse's name is Palazam. To say Palazam should have won at Randwick last start is stating the obvious. He finished third to Social Cream, and he'll beat Social Cream today by further than Mick Cronin can kick a football. And I think he'll beat all the other horses in the race as well. 2 starts back, Palazam was most impressive in winning at Newcastle. And then last start at Randwick, he failed to get to the lead, which is his normal position, and he failed to show quite his customary early speed. Today, I visualise him either leading or trailing the speedy string of pearls to the turn, and then once in the home straight, Tracy Bartley will say go, and you get going straight to the tab to collect, because if you're on Palazam, that's exactly what I think you'll be doing.
OK, the numbers official on race 4, 6, 10 and 15. The race just decided. Left Ashore was the winner, second Sadistic Queen, and third was Madalena. That New Zealand filly might be the one to watch, Mike. Madalena, pretty good run. All right, Johnny, you stay with us too. We'll be back in a moment to bring you all the highlights of this week's exciting Belgian Grand Prix. Now,
going to go back out to Rose Hill for the next of our televised races. This one, the James Hardy Mick Cronin Cup. Your commentator again, Johnny Tapp.
Righto, Mike, thanks very much indeed. They're spilling into the gates now for the running of this first leg of the Daily Double. A very interesting race. I think Like a Lunch is going to be hard to beat. He's well weighted on 52.5 when you look at his very best form. It was about this time last year that he won 4 races on the trot. I think he might be a winter horse, Ray, Like a Lunch.
Yes, John, I think that is certainly the case. Let's have a look at this tote board from the top. Social Cream at 20s, Bow Kingdom 2-1, Purple Maze at 15s, McCluskey 8-1, String of Pearls 16, Like a Lunch Your Tip at 5-2, Palazam at 9-1, Brits Kingdom 11s, Bastille, the Gay Deceiver at 11-1, and Just for Tristram at 40-1. This race, of course, named in honour of one of Australia's best-known rugby league footballers, centre three-quarter Mick Cronin. And Mick's about to join me up on the presentation dais here for his tip in this race. What's your tip in the race named after yourself, Mick?
Well, I've got to stick for the local horse, Ray. I'm going to go for Bow Kingdom.
Well, he's trained at Berry on the south coast, and of course you're from Gerringong, only a stone's throw away.
That is right. I did a bit of a late change. I did fancy Like a Lunch earlier. I'm going to stick with Bow Kingdom now.
OK, might be the Quinella. Mick, how's that eye going? You suffered a very bad injury before the season got underway. Any chance of you being on the paddock in 86?
Well, the eye is improving. The external part of the eye is just about right now. I'll give myself about 2 or 3 weeks of training to see if I can handle loss of sight, and then I'll attempt to play again. You're a great centre. Let's see what sort of tips do you are, Mick. Tappy, back to you.
OK, Ray, and good luck with that eye, Mick. Let's hope it comes good 100%, and we'll see you back in action shortly. This race is over 1,900 metres. The amber light flashing on top of the gates. They look pretty good, and they're away. And Social Cream from the inside bounded out in front of Bow Kingdom, and Bastille and Purple Maze is prominent, followed by Palazam. String of Pearls out about 6 horses off the rail, cruising up towards the lead. Like a Lunch is out very deep in the early part. And then Brits Kingdom and McCluskey and Just for Tristram back at the tail of the field as they go by the 1,600 mark, wheeling to the back. And in the all-green colours, the mare String of Pearls had raced to the lead now. Opened up a break of 2 lengths on Like a Lunch, getting to second on the outside of Social Cream, a bit more than a length to Purple Maze, followed by Bow Kingdom. And then the imported horse Bastille, and just behind those Palazam, and further back McCluskey, followed by Brits Kingdom, and last Just for Tristram. Down the back they run to the 1,200 mark. String of Pearls high balling out in front, led by 2.5 lengths on Like a Lunch. A half away Social Cream on the fence, a half to the grey Palazam. Purple Maze just behind those. Bow Kingdom cluttered up on the rail, a length to Bastille, a length and a half to McCluskey, suited by the fast pace, followed by Brits Kingdom, and last Just for Tristram. Around that top turn, about 900 out. String of Pearls in her favourite role, led by a little more than 2 lengths to Like a Lunch, and Social Cream, and Palazam on the outside makes a line of 3. A bit more than a length Purple Maze, and Bow Kingdom midfield being niggled a bit by Quinton. Then McCluskey and Bastille, followed by Brits Kingdom, and last of all Just for Tristram as they come to the 600 mark, nearing the turn, and String of Pearls a clear-cut leader, led by a length and a half to Social Cream, and Like a Lunch, and Palazam is dropping out of it now. Bow Kingdom on the fence, waiting for a run, followed by Purple Maze, and McCluskey is carted very deep on the turn into the straight. They're homeward bound now, and it's Social Cream going after String of Pearls. Like a Lunch on the outside, not finding much, followed by Purple Maze, and right down the outside McCluskey. Bow Kingdom out of the pocket is about to go after String of Pearls. Bow Kingdom hard-ridden is coming after the leader. String of Pearls in front, Bow Kingdom and Purple Maze further out late on the scene. String of Pearls won't give up. She's fighting back. She's run them off their feet, the mare. And String of Pearls came away on the line to beat Bow Kingdom a length. Purple Maze died on her run slightly in 3rd place, followed by Like a Lunch, McCluskey, and then Social Cream, and well back Brits Kingdom and Palazam from Bastille, and last of all is Just for Tristram. 2 straight to the mare String of Pearls, trained by Pat Murray at Randwick and ridden by apprentice Aaron Hugh. And the irony of the situation is the fact that before that win at Randwick the other day, she hadn't won in over a year. And yet she's now been able to win 2 on the trot. String of Pearls taken straight to the lead by Hugh. Just bowls along in front. She's led in a similar fashion in 90% of her races, String of Pearls. She's just a natural front-running sort of mare. I thought Bow Kingdom would pick her up for sure, 100 out. He got to within 3/4 of a length of her, but Quinton was hard at Bow Kingdom. Hugh was sitting down hands and heels on the leader. Purple Maze put in one quick little dash wide out, and just for a fleeting second looked as though she might be in the finish, but her run ended. In fact, I thought she petered out again in the last 50 metres, and on the line it was String of Pearls coming away again to win by just on a length. String of Pearls, apprentice Aaron Hugh is going to pay handsomely, $10 and $2.15 on the New South Wales TAB odds of 19 to 1. Pat Murray, the trainer, he's prepared many good gallopers over the years, including the celebrated stayer Tails, some years back, winner of 2 Metropolitan handicaps at Randwick. Now, our next telecast race will be the 7th, which is the Tui's Draft handicap at 10-4. Let's see what Ken Callender thinks about this one.
Well, I tipped Tracy Bartley to win the first leg of the Darley Double today on Palazam, and I think he can win the second leg of the Darley Double on Wallara Prince. Now, Wallara Prince is no well-beater, but in a Walter with 2.5 kilograms under the limit, boy oh boy, he reads well to me. He's only had 2 runs since a spell, and at his last start at Randwick, he finished 5th to McCluskey after doing it a bit hard from the half mile to the home turn. My track touts tell me that Wallara Prince has improved a ton since that run, and I think he'll be fit enough to win the race today. If there is a danger, perhaps it could be the Tommy Smith-trained Jukebox Jury, who's also very well weighted with Brad Parnell's allowance. But me, I'm going to have a little bit on Wallara Prince.
Good on you, Ken. Looking very clean cut today, short back and sides. Ken Callender with his thoughts on Wallara Prince in race 7. Winner String of Pearls returning to scale now after the previous race at Rose Hill. That little boy, Aaron Hugh, is one of several Sydney apprentices to have made rapid improvement in the last 6 months or so. He's going extremely well. OK, we'll see you again for race 7 at around about 10-4. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Johnny, and you stay with us.
Well, Rose Hill looking pretty good as we're ready now for race 7, the Tui's Draft handicap. Here's your caller, Johnny Tapp.
Ian, they'll be off and running very shortly here with only a handful to move in. Max Treasure a certainty beaten at Randwick a fortnight back. I expect him to make amends. What price is he on the tote, Ray?
John, just have a look at the favoured ones. Deed Star at 6-1, Jacks at 8-1. Now Max Treasure at 5-2 on the tote, but 5-1 in the ring. Jukebox Jury 13-2. Mr. Squiggles at 7-1. Zephyr Ace at 9-1. We go all the way down to Reuters News at 16-1, and then Wallara Prince at 10-1 at the bottom. Tappy, your tip here looks a big hope.
Looks very well too, the horse. Turned out to a nicety by Rosehill trainer Mick Hood. He's not the biggest horse in the world, Max Treasure, but big enough, nice and compact, and he does look beautiful. Mick tends to space his runs, usually a fortnight between his races. He landed a confident betting plunge when he scored at Warwick Farm. Then a fortnight later, that luckless third, the Vain Fury at Randwick. And another 2 weeks again here now between runs. Now, there's some sort of a delay over there behind the gates, but I just can't pick up what it is. The starter's made no attempt to climb onto his rostrum. He's down on ground level, actually resting one arm on the rostrum, looking across towards the line, so apparently something's out or giving trouble. Billions Galore, ridden by Ron Quinton, who's had a blank day, hasn't won a race so far. He did win a race at Warwick Farm on Wednesday on Perfect Jet, which was his one and only win since resuming riding after that long absence through injury. Now, Bruce Compton is riding Zephyr Ace in this race for the Paul Sutherland stable. Let's hear what he had to say about the horse's prospects.
Well, Zephyr Ace is a big, gross horse. It's taken a time to come to hand, and Bruce Compton, the stable jockey for Paul Sutherland, has them out this afternoon. Well, I think this is a pretty weak race, really, in looking through the field, and Zephyr Ace appears to have its best chance this time in it, running some sort of race, Bruce.
Well, I think the racing that he's had's brought him up to some degree, and he needs me on him to ride him. He's a very hard ride, and you've got to work on him a long way.
Gates open, off and running, and Keelhaul a little bit slow to move at the start, beginning very quickly as Jacks towards the outside. Jukebox Jury fast away is being used up from his outside gate to get across and go to the lead. Folding Money, the grey, now pokes through into second place, followed by Chief Justice, and then Wallara Prince. Max Treasure about 7th on the outside when they settle down properly, and then a length or so to Deed Star, followed by Reuters News, Mr. Squiggles, Keelhaul. A long way back, Billions Galore as they race up to approach the first turn, and then Zephyr Ace and My Day. Peace Officer back in that tail end section. Second last, Santaniaco, and last of all is Trick Gold. Around the first bend at the 900 mark, and it's Jukebox Jury, just the leader over Folding Money. 3 lengths away in third place is Jackson Max Treasure, beautifully placed, running fourth, one off the rail. About 2 then to Chief Justice, followed closely by Wallara Prince, and then Deed Star, Reuters News, Mr. Squiggles. Well back, Billions Galore with Keelhaul, Zephyr Ace, Santaniaco, Peace Officer, and Trick Gold as last as they come around the turn. The grey Folding Money went to a narrow lead over Jukebox Jury. In third place now, Max Treasure. He made the bend a bit awkwardly. Jacks actually carted him wide, and back behind those Chief Justice, followed by Wallara Prince, coming to the 200 mark, and Max Treasure on the outside hit the lead momentarily. On the outside, Wallara Prince is making a race of it, and Chief Justice on the fence, battling on well. Chief Justice, Max Treasure, Wallara Prince are fighting it out. Old Reuters News is charging charging down the outside. Wallara Prince poked his head in front, right on the line, and Wallara Prince got there narrowly from Reuters News with Chief Justice third. Max Treasure right on their wheel, but disappointing in the run home, followed by Mr. Squiggles, and then Zephyr Race, Deed Star, Santaniaco, Billions Galore, Folding Money. Further back is Jacks Who Tired, followed by Trick Gull, Keel Hall, and then Peace Officer and My Day, and the early leader, Jukebox Jury, cut up badly to run last. Gee, I was disappointed with the way Max Treasure went to the line in the last bit. I couldn't find a single excuse for him. I think he had oh, yes, I can. He just made the bend a little bit awkwardly. In fact, Jacks on his inside might have even given him a bump for a stride or two, and just carted him a little wider than Johnston would like to have gone. But still, I think he had his chance because he charged up, and he looked certain to win at the 200, but was found wanting in the last little bit. Now, it's a photo here. Photo call for with Wallara Prince at this stage of proceedings going up to tackle Chief Justice on the rails with the blinkers and the white cap. You can see Max Treasure giving up in the last 100 with the white sleeves and cap over on the inside. He's dropping out of it, and it's Reuters News. He's been a remarkable old horse. Charging down the outside, Wallara Prince headed Chief Justice 10 metres from home. Reuters News lunged at him and has failed to make it by about a short head. Wallara Prince, that was Kenny Calendar's selection, so the chairman strikes again. He's a great judge. And Wallara Prince was at the juicy odds of 9 to 1. $5 the win, $1.75 the place on the New South Wales TAB, and there are the numbers, 16, 9 and 12. Wallara Prince the winner, Reuters News was second, and Chief Justice third, 16, 9, 12. Now, the last of the day is the Westfield Shopping Town Parramatta Handicap due at 4:25. Ken Callender, let's hear it again.
If you're losing coming to the last race, you've got a pretty tough task ahead. But I'm going to go for the ever-reliable Castle's Best. Now, he's got a bit of weight, but I don't think I've seen him in the city against a weaker field than he's racing today. And he's got a pretty good city record. On top of that, you've got Malcolm Johnston to ride him. Castle's Best goes well at Rosehill, and I think he'll be well placed from the outset. I picture him running about third or fourth to the turn, and then it's up to Magical Mel. I think he can get him home, and I'm going to have a little bit on him.
Well, the chairman's got his eye in, so certainly you've got to place a lot of credence in his comments on the last race today. We'll be back at about 4:25 with a live telecast of the last at Rosehill. Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Tappy. Yes, a 9 to 1 winner there from Kenny Callender. He has got his eye in. Well, you keep your eye in, and here's a look at what's still to come for race 8. It's the Westfield Parramatta Handicap over 1,200 metres. Here's Johnny Tapp.
Righto, Ian, it's the last of the day, and punters are facing up to a pretty tough essay because there are plenty of runners, and luck will certainly play an important part. Ray Hadley is ready now to present the approximate win tote call on this final race. Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, JT, and they're a pretty forgiving lot, the punters. They've got Castle's Best, the favourite, at 6 to 4 on the tote. Amur at 30 to 1, Half Shilling 11 to 2, True Biscuit 15 to 2, Strive for Gold at 12 to 1, Farrago 30s, Mako Prince at 40 to 1, Calgary at 8 to 1, Southern Blaze at 20s, Taliban at 50s, Jemsky 20s, Baronga Man 20s, Megabucks at 16 to 1, Singing Rock at 200s, Miss Lucy 100 to 1, and Hearty Red at 60 to 1. Well, Tappy, the punters have given Castle's Best one more chance. What about you?
Yeah, I am too, Ray. When you first looked at the acceptances, he certainly looked a big chance, and then the more you went through them, the more you came back to him. I know he's got plenty of weight, but he's also got the form on the board. He's a pretty talented galloper. Now, the lights flashing on top, Starter pounces onto his rostrum, and they're about to break. There look to be a million of them over there in this eerie twilight at Rosehill. Singing Rock is the inside runner, a tendon going in with one of them drawn in 4 or 5 gate, but now they're off. And Farrago is slow to move at the start, and so was Miss Lucy, and the two